Give it up for that mighty brother, man. The brother spoke mighty in the spirit, man. All praises to Yahweh, God, Shimmy, Yahweh, Shah. God, Allah, walked up a rap, Yahweh, God, Shimmy, Yahweh, Shah, man. We're going to keep this thing going, man. We in Greensboro, North Carolina, bringing that smoke to wake up the lost sheep here in Greensboro, man. The home of the so-called Aggies, man. Like, we ain't bringing that Aggie pride today, man. We bringing that Yahweh pride today, man. Shimmy, I was shot pride today, man, to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, man, because we got to wake up in these last days. America's about finished, man. World War III, if you didn't know, there's sedition, there's famine, there's shortage of food, the house of Jacob is killing every day, man. That's right. Right? There's murder, man. We don't know what's going on. Hey, brother, let me ask you a question, brother. Right? The brother was getting into it, right? Now you know you're an Israelite, right? You know you're an Israelite. I'm going to break down some commandments for you, brother. Right? And these commandments, the women, y'all can keep them as well. Right? Give me 10 and 12. Give me 11 and 7. We're going to continue where the brothers left off at. Right? Because it's good that you know that you're Israelite. That's just half the battle. Knowing is half the battle. Right? If you know you can draw and you never buy a pen and pad, what good is it? Right? If you know that you can shoot basketball and you never go to a goal with a ball, how good is it? So knowing that you're an Israelite, brother, that's just half the battle. Right? First off, give me drop that. Give me Jeremiah 17 and 4. I'm gonna show you why you didn't know. Right? You didn't know you was an Israelite. The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans don't know who they are in these days. It was the reason that we fell from our power, that we fell from the Most High God, because we were rebellious, we was hard-headed, and we don't listen. That alone fit the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Wake them up.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage. Shall discontinue from thy heritage. We're going to discontinue from the heritage that the Most High God gave us, and we're going to be given bywords by the so-called white man, being black, being Mexican, being Argentinian, right? Those are bywords that the so-called white man put upon the children of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? That I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies, to serve thy enemies, to serve thy enemy. Hey, brother, who is our enemy? Were you listening a while ago, brother? Who is the enemy of the so-called Israelites? All the other nations, but particularly the white man, right? He is the enemy. We carry in his backyard, right? We serving the white man. We under sedition for the so-called white man, but he's not white. That's another lie, right? You're never see a man that color this piece of paper, right? If anybody can find a man that's the color of this piece of paper, you bring him to me. And all these brothers out here, we're going to get all our money together, right? And we're going to give it to you. You want to know why? Because we're going to take that man that look like this piece of paper, and we're going to take him all over the world to show people a white man. Right. But you're never going to find him, right? Because they red. It's a red man, right? They know they red, right? Read. In the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, in my anger. The Lord is hot with the children of Israel, man. Right? You can drop that. This is the book of Leviticus. Come on. Drop that. Read that. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 12. And now Israel, what did the Lord thy God require of thee? The Lord said, now Israel, brother, you an Israelite, right? Y'all are Israelites. So the Lord said, what did the Lord thy God require of thee? Read. But to fear the Lord thy God. You have to fear the Lord thy God, right? Read. To walk in all his ways and to love him. And to love him. Y'all love God? Do y'all love God? How do you love God? Right? Can you send them a text, like with the heart emojis? Or a letter you tie to a hot air balloon and you let it go? And it goes up to heaven. How do you love God? Do you know? We're going to show you how you love God, right? The Bible answers all questions for his people, right? So we're going to show you the love of God. Read that. This is the book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 3. For this is the love of God. Or this is the love of God, read. That we keep his commandments. That we keep his commandments, the children of Israel. Can you see all these other nations? You see the enemies? Right? Brother, give me Judah 5 and 20. You see the enemies over here? Look at the Iranians, right? You see them? See where they got set up? Today is the Sabbath day. right? There's no buying and selling on the Sabbath day. And that's why we're in the condition we're in now, because we broke the Lord's Sabbath day. And you got our enemies setting up stands just like they did in the ancient world. But Nehemiah put an end to that. Nehemiah said, I'm going to put my hands on you if you come and try to sell to my people.
Wake them up.
So we should be buying and selling on the Lord's Sabbath day, right? That is command, right? Read. And his commandments are not grievous. It's not hard to do it. Once you start doing it, it's not hard to put fringes on your garments. It's not hard to grow a beard. It's not hard to stop eating abominable foods. It's not hard to love your brother. It's not hard for women to put on a dress, right? That's not hard, right? Read. This is the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20. Now, therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people. This is a heathen, so-called Japanese man talking to another heathen. Read. And they sin against their God. What? And they sin against their God. If you sin against your God, read. Let us consider that this shall be their ruin. Their what? That this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, if they don't sin, read. Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them and their God before them. Our God before us. Hey brother right here. So you say you don't believe in the Bible, right? Why you don't believe in the Bible? Because I'm gonna tell you why. Because they took this Bible, our law book. Give me Joshua 1 and 8. Give me Baruch. Give me Baruch 4 and 1. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they took our Bible and they made religions. They made Christianity. They made Catholicism. They gave you a Baptist church, a Presbyterian church, right? They gave you these things, but we know that the Lord don't dwell in temples made with hands.
Wake them up!
Right? So they gave you this church, and they gave you the book, How to Keep a Negro Christian. That's what the so-called white man did. And now we don't believe in the church no more, right? Because along with the image of Christ they give you, now what image they give you of Christ? What's the image? A so-called white man, right? With blue eyes and blonde hair, right? Right? That's not the image of Christ. But with that image comes a whole nother doctrine. That guy's coming to save everybody. That guy say he loves everybody. That guy say everybody can go up to the kingdom of heaven. When the kingdom of heaven is coming to the earth. Right? Cesare Borgia was the son of Pope Alexander VI. A real man. Right? The image of Christ that they gave us, right? That's a real man. Right? So I'm going to show you why you don't believe in this Bible, King, but I'm going to show you that you are in this Bible, right? Now I'm going to ask you a question. How did so-called black people get over here to America? What form of transportation? Boat. A boat, right? Right? I'm going to show you why this is your book, and this is not a religion book. The so-called white man, the Chinese man, the damn Japanese man, the Arabs, they has no business reading this book. That's right. This is our playbook in these last days. Right. Like the B-I-B-L-E. We like to say this is your biblical intervention before losing everything. Because the kingdom of heaven is everything. Right? It's not your cars, it's not your houses, it's not the women, it's not the money, it's not this disgusting food they serve us, it's not this polluted air that we breathe in, brother. It's the kingdom of heaven, brother. And I'm going to show you why this is your book.
Wake them up!
Right, I'm going to show you why this is your book, brother. So God left a sign, right, because he knew the white man would have crafty counsel. And he knew this brother right here was going to come up one day. And he didn't believe because if they didn't treat you right, brother, why would they teach you right? Right? They're not going to teach you right because they got to keep you in sin to prolong their kingdom. Right? That's all they do. America promotes nothing but sin. Homosexuality, they break the Sabbath day, right? They go to war, they're a bunch of liars and devils, man. Right? And they tell you to pick your bootstraps up, man, and go get a job. They don't rape, rob, and murder over 200 million people, man, of our people, right? Read this. I'm going to show you in the book, King. Read. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These are the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. So, brother, who is Moses speaking to? We'll read it again. Listen to this. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. Who Moses speaking to? Read it again. Read it again for the brother. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. Unto all Israel. Unto all Israel. Unto all Israel, brother. So Moses is speaking to the Israelites, right? They just came out the wilderness, right? They just came out of Egypt. And Moses is speaking to the Israelites. We have not entered the promised land yet. We just came out of Egypt. So this is what Moses told the Israelites, right?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses,
Now, sister, is a curse a good or a bad thing? A curse is a bad thing, right? So the Lord said, if you don't listen, all these curses, all these hard times, excuse my French, I'm going to put it in layman's terms for our people, all these ass whoopings, it's going to come upon you if you don't listen, right?
That's right. Shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Verse 16.
So the Lord said these curses, give me 46. So the Lord said these curses are going to come upon his people for not listening. Now when we read these curses, it's only going to fit one nation of people. Because this is what the Lord said, right?
This is Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 46.
And they, right? Slow it down. And they, meaning these curses, sister, read,
shall be upon thee for a sign.
For a what?
For a sign.
For a sign, sister. So if you get to a light, for those who drive, if you get to a light, right? Hey, brother, hold on, brother. So, sister, if you get to a light and it's red, what you gonna do? You're gonna stop, because red is a sign. The color means stop. So the Lord said these curses will be upon thee for a sign. So if you want to find out who God's chosen people are, sister, they're going to fit the curses of Deuteronomy, right?
For a wonder and upon thy seed forever.
And upon thy seed forever. So let's read some of the curses, and we're going to see what nationality of people do these curses fit. We're going to see do they fit the so-called white man, the Japanese man, or the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right?
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
What the Lord say?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Hey, sister, how we live in the city of Greensboro? Y'all from Greensboro? How do we live in the city, right? Is it nice manicured lawns, and y'all got the street sweepers coming at your block, right? Or is it crime, drugs, prostitution, right? Everybody got that one corner store in the hood, it needs painting. They got one sign on the front, it's blinking. They got beer, lottery, and cigarettes, right? It only got Black and Miles and Newports and Dutchess and Backwoods in it. It has nothing healthy in it. They got that one basket with 3 tiers. They got some bananas here and they got apples here, but they all rotten. So you come in, they ain't got nothing but malt liquor, and they got Mad Dog 2020, and they got Steel Reserves, and they got all the Dutchess. And the store ain't no bigger than about 20 square feet. In the hood. That's how we live, right? We got to worry about coming outside, getting shot in the streets, right? Try to put food on our table to feed our children, right? Protect our children. That's cursing the city, right? Read.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Cursed shall thou be in the field. When we go in the field, like the sugarcane fields, right? The tobacco fields, the cotton fields. Who worked those fields? Were the Chinese men in the fields? Better yet, I'm gonna ask you this: in the city, right? Have you ever seen all Chinese people living in the projects? How about all Arab people living in the projects? Right? You're never gonna find. That's a curse in the city for us. It's actually a project. Why? Because the government said we're gonna put all these Negroes together. We're gonna give them free housing, so they're gonna take that little extra money and they're gonna smoke dope and they're gonna kill each other. Right? That's a project. He said a project. You got a project in every city, in every state in America. Right? That's cursed in the city. Right? Read.
And cursed in the field.
Cursed should not be in the field. Tobacco fields, cotton fields. When you graduate college, right? They say that is the what? The work field. Right? And who's the last hired, first fired? Who's when that pink slip coming around, who they giving that pink slip to first? Whose average income is $75,000 for the so-called white man, and our income is only about $30,000. That's been cursed in the field, sister. Right? Read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look, and thou with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thy hand.
What that sound like? Our sons and our daughters were given to another people during slavery. There's nothing you can do. If Master Johnson came from Florida and he met Master Smith in North Carolina and they met halfway and they exchanged slaves and sold our forefathers and our foremothers, right, to each other, and you never seen your child again, right? The Lord said, read it again. Thy sons, thy daughters shall be given unto another people. Shall be given unto another people. Now I'm going to tell you what that modern day is. That's CPS, Child Protective Service. Or so-called somebody can make an allegation about you, and CPS is coming to your door, and they can take your child, right? And when you selling dope in the streets, you got your children in the car, right? They're not gonna say, well, call the nearest relative. The policeman, he's so damn wicked, he's gonna arrest you on the spot and call CPS and come take your children to Child Protective Custody. Read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed.
What?
Till thou be destroyed.
Hey, now we just destroyed, right? What we call ourselves, black? That's a crayon color like the brother was bringing out, right? Where's the land of black? What language they speak? What currency they use? Like, I want to go see the land of black. You're not going to find it. If you go to the airport right now and say, give me a ticket to the nation black, not only they going to look at you funny, right, they may call the psych ward on you. And but they trying to go to the nation black, where is that? Right? Hey, we can't let them leave the airport, right? They may hurt somebody. They going to look at you like you crazy. But these were bywords that were placed upon God's chosen people. And remember, these are curses. The curses only fit one nation of people. Read.
Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments.
Do what?
To keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they. This is the book of Deuteronomy.
Now, brother, if y'all knew, y'all just coming up and catch you up. We're reading the Bible. This is our history book. This is not a religious book. They lied to us. If they didn't treat you right, why would they teach you right? So I'm going to catch you up to speed. So I'm going to let you know that this is our history book, right? And God left clues in this book to know who are his people in the last days. Because we'll be Israelites according to the Bible. We're not black, African American, we're not Spicks, we're not niggers, right? We are kings and priests, right? And we're princesses and princesses on this earth. But we have been stripped and brought to a lower state because we broke the Lord's commandments, right? Rick?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore, shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee.
The what?
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
The white man did it on his own.
Which the Lord shall send against thee.
So we're not going to give Esau too much credit, right? Because we know this was ordained by the Lord for not listening, right? We're not going to give him too much credit because the Lord just used the so-called white man to punish the children of Israel.
That's right. In hunger.
In what?
In hunger.
Anything that you eat. What's the last thing you ate, brother? Right? Right? Do we own Ruth's Chris? Do we own the Cheesecake Factory? Right? Do we own these places? Right? Do we own the Chinese restaurants? No, we don't. So the Lord said you got to serve your enemy in hunger, right?
And in thirst.
And in thirst. Gatorade, Sprite, Mountain Dew, Aquafina water, anything that you buy, we don't own those places. We don't own those things. We have to go to our enemy and get those things, right?
And in nakedness.
And the clothes that you got on, Puma, we don't own Puma, right? We don't own the Capitol Corporation, right? We don't own the New York Yankee logo to put on hats, right? We got to go to our enemy to get these things, right?
And in what of all things?
Anything you want, driver's license, right? You want to go to their schools, you want a mortgage, you want an application for rent, you have to go to your enemy to get those things. We wasn't always like that. The law was made for our sake, but like I said, we fell to a lower state because we broke the commandments of the Most High God.
That's right. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
Wait a minute. They say your enemy is going to put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, right? Now, who put a yoke of iron on the so-called black people's neck, right? So-called white man, right? Doing slavery, what they call it chattel slavery, the worst slavery in U.S. history, in world history, that we going through, that we currently going through. We are yet this day in our captivity, right? The Lord said put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, right?
Until he hath destroyed thee.
The Lord said until he hath destroyed thee. Now the yoke's not on our necks no more because we are destroyed. We call ourselves black. We call ourselves African American. These are bywords. right? We're not any of those terms. Those are man-made terms. Amerigo Vespucci and Leo Scipriaconicus, a so-called Roman general and another map maker, Italian map maker, who conquered this land, right? And now they named the land after their own name. That's right. We can't be African American. That's the most dumbest thing ever. Even you get an African, he'll never say I'm from Africa. He'll say I'm from Nigeria, I'm from the Senegal, right? I'm from Egypt. He'll never say I'm African, right? We call ourselves two continents, right? Because we are destroyed, right?
Look, verse 50. A nation of fierce continent, we shall not regard the person of the whole, nor show favor to the young.
They didn't care about us. They didn't care about our young youth. Right? Where the picture with the 6-year-old working in the cotton field. They literally had 6-year-olds working in the cotton field. Right? They literally beat our forefathers to the time they could work in the fields until the time they took their last breath in that same cotton field. Right? These are the curses that the Lord placed among his people. Now we're going to read this last curse, and I'm going to pass to the next mighty brother to further edify you, brother, if y'all want to stick around. But let's read the last curse and see who this curse fits. Read that.
This is Book of Deuteronomy. This is the Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee unto Egypt again.
The Lord said going to bring us to Egypt again, right? Now what were the Israelites doing in Egypt, ancient Egypt? Were they slaves or were they free? The Israelites in ancient Egypt, were they slaves or were they free? Right? I'm gonna make a long story short. They were slaves. Our ancestors. We were those same people that was in ancient Egypt. But the Lord said gonna bring you back into Egypt. Right? We walked out of Egypt. You can't take a ship into Egypt. So the Lord saying you're gonna bring you back into another Egypt. Let me show you what Egypt means. Read.
This is the Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the land of Egypt.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. So another name for bondage, another name for Egypt is bondage. House of bondage. So we're going to read it. Read.
This is the Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt or bondage.
The Lord going to bring us to bondage and slavery again. How you say we got to America, brother? How did we get to America?
Slavery.
Slave ships, right? Read.
Into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
This Bible that they claim that is universal is telling that God's chosen people went back into slavery in America on cargo slave ships. That was a prophecy prophesied about 4,000 years ago.
That's
and
right.
It happened, right, Rick?
By the way, we're all, I spake unto thee.
Just like they show us how it happened. And 12 years of slave, Roots, the Django, right? Birth of a Nation. They showed that we came over here packed like sardines, right? Being defecated on, pissed on, you know, no room to breathe. We got to think at the time, 1600, there was no AC. The boat was only going about 7 miles an hour. And it took months for it to get over here, right? That was the Lord said we would come back into slavery on ships, Rick.
By the way, we're all, I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold.
The Lord said, and there, when you get to that place, when you're going in them slave ships, you're going to be sold. Who were we sold to? What nation of people were we sold to? So-called white man, right? We were sold to the white man on auction blocks, right? But let's see what the Lord called these people. Read.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies. Unto your enemies.
The Lord said you're going to be sold unto your enemies, right?
That's right.
For bondmen,
Slave man,
and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
and no man should buy you. So if this happened to the Israelites, right, and it was prophesied that would happen to God's chosen people, who must we be in today? If this happened to the Israelites, right, and it happened to our people, who must we be?
The chosen people.
The chosen people. So what? The Israelites.
That's right.
Give me, Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 25 and verse 9. And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God.
The Lord said,
Lo, this is our God. We are waiting for him.
We are what?
We are waiting for him.
We are what?
We are waiting for him.
We are what?
We are waiting for him.
Read.
And he will save
He
us.
will what?
And he will save us.
Read.
This is not the Lord. This is the Lord.
We have waited for him.
And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. Call Allah with the Paraf, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. We're going to wait for the next powerful brother to come up and further edify you. Come that brother.
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 Left to America.